OG, OG status coors remember I went to Chicago, I believe, in the summer of 2019. I was with Ty, who was with us at the time. And we went there. It wasn't, not because there was a major story with like a George Floyd type of thing, but because between the out of control violence, which is not, unlike Bill O'Reilly said, was not because of like, black people not having strong families at home and yada, yada, yada. Um, we went there to cover Rahm Emanuel's corruption and many other things. So, Colin, if you can play, we did a roundtable with activists there. I asked activists, what is Rahm Emanuel doing for you, and particularly black people? Here's what they said. What part are you seeing from Mayor Emanuel?
Nothing. We don't see nothing from this mayoral administration. We haven't been seeing anything for the past 7 years, and I don't think we'll see anything in the near future. Rahm politics is not for African American poor people. That's not his focus. That never has been his focus, never will be his focus. And I think that's something that your viewers need to know, and we're adamant about. Rahm Emanuel does not care about poor black people in this city. And I think that his emphasis is to just focus on downtown and communities like that, Lakeview, Ravenswood, Edgewater, communities that are not suffering from poor schools. You know what I mean? I live in South Shore. Not only do we have poor schools there, but I've been in a food desert for 5 years. Not just me, but the 40,000 populace in my neighborhood. You understand? And him or the city council has just no motivation to try to get us out of these situations that we're living in. And it's not just police. It's just the livelihood of black people in this city is horrible, just period. From police, you could talk about the public housing authority here, the CHA. It's over 100,000 people on the waiting list. The surplus is somewhere in the hundreds of millions, right? But we have one of the biggest housing crises in the nation. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many different issues that we could focus on. The education system. We're going on our third or fourth superintendent or CEO of the Chicago. 2 had to step down. 1 was indicted for federal corruption charges. The other one just had to step down because the inspector general said it was ethical violation. But each one was appointed by Rahm. You know what I'm saying? Each one was appointed by the mayor. So that just lets you know what type of leadership that we under this executive administration for the mayor. But we have to organize. It is some great leaders that are rising up, that want to try to throw their hat in the ring politically and make some noise. So we trying.
I don't know if you heard any of that clip, but this was 2 years ago when I was in Chicago interviewing activists, and they told me straight up, Rahm Emanuel is not for black people in Chicago. So I wanted to hear, first of all, your reaction that the president appointed him to be an ambassador to Japan or appointed him to anything. And after that, what was your personal experience dealing with him in Chicago?
Like I said, at first I thought it was a joke, but it was kind of disgusting, his appointment. Not only since I lived through the Rahm era in 2015, I was around 10 years old, so I definitely had a lot of really anger towards that appointment. And like I told you, my school was one of the 50 schools that Rahm Emanuel shut down in 2015. So I have lots of experiences hearing not only my opinion, but from other young people who Rahm Emanuel closed down their schools. So.
And what's amazing to me, and like Jim Clyburn came out, Colin, if you could show this tweet, Jim Clyburn came out um, basically saying how great Rahm Emanuel is for, how his experience working with it was great. I support Biden's nomination of my former colleague Rahm Emanuel to be ambassador to Japan. I worked closely with him in Congress, and when he served as chief of staff to President Obama, he has the experience necessary to advance our country's strategic objectives. So, and I mean, I don't know, Jim Clyburn, he obviously got involved in South Carolina. A lot of people think without him, Biden would have lost during the Democratic primary. But it's like, I'm a white person, so I don't want to pretend to understand. I don't really understand how black leaders in Congress or anywhere could come out in support of somebody who literally stopped footage, 16 shots of the police executing Laquan McDonald just straight up stopped it from coming out before his reelection. Then when he came out, came up with this ridiculous excuse. How, again, I don't want to say anything inappropriate, but as a white guy, I'm just standing over here. How could a black leader be defending this man?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you said, that footage of him, the footage of Laquan McDonald was definitely very traumatic to me, seeing it as a really young kid. I just don't understand. I truly don't understand how our Senator Dick Durbin is willing to give his support for Rahm Emanuel. Not only because of him shutting down schools, but that video. You would think that our elected officials would have a heart and would side with the family of Laquan McDonald and not support Rahm Emanuel at all for any political positions. But I don't know how anybody truly supports Rahm Emanuel with all the disgusting things he's done in the city of Chicago as mayor. Yes, that's right.
So, can you kind of talk about that? Like, what was his reason for shutting down those schools? What did they replace those schools with better schools? I doubt it.
I really don't know the reason, but my school was Lyman Trumbull. It's on Clark and Foster. And at first, it was going to be turned into a mall. A school that was made for children was going to be turned into a mall. Hope everybody lets that sink in. But luckily, we argued and said that this was a historical building, so now it's turned into a private school. And that's what it got turned into. So I'm glad that Rahm Emanuel's first choice was a mall and not, another school. But
Right. And can you kind of talk about also, because I've covered a lot. I mean, I've been to most like major American cities. And what I could tell you is, and yeah, I'm sorry about that clicking sound. It's on her end, but at least we could hear her voice. What is amazing to me is literally this man has basically poured like God knows how much, I think tens of millions of dollars, taxpayer money, by the way, into making like downtown Chicago a beautiful river with restaurants and bars and all these things around it. Meanwhile, he left the rest of Chicago to rot, not just education. You're talking food deserts throughout Chicago. You're talking lack of health care, closed down community centers, closed down YMCAs. Is it all his fault? No, this goes back way longer than Rahm Emanuel, but he certainly didn't do much for people outside of downtown Chicago because I've been to Chicago several times reporting. And after you get out of that downtown area where the river walk, I mean, it's not great. I mean, it's not great, these other communities. Yet you have James Clyburn and Biden acting like here's some guy of the people that's done some great work. Can you talk about the other harmful things that happen under him?
yeah, those were the two main things. And just in general, he never has ever listened to young people's opinions. I've never felt represented by him, not only because he's a white man, but I've never seen him reach out to any young people in the ward that I live, or just in any ward in general. And that's kind of disappointing, considering the fact that young people are all over the city of Chicago and have brilliant ideas, and he's just never listened to young people, and that's really disappointing.
Right. And can you kind of also talk about, separate from Rahm Emanuel, like Lori Lightfoot was kind of built, the mayor now was kind of billed as like, I don't know, progressive, black woman, gay. From what I hear, she's basically Rahm Emanuel, just in a different gender.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was very, like you said, I was very excited for Lori Lightfoot to come in. She was a woman of color. She was gay. I saw myself in her, but she's basically the same person. Again, she uses young people to her advantage. And not only that, when the unfortunate murder of Adam Toledo happened, I saw the exact same, she had the exact same person as Rahm Emanuel. She was the exact same reaction as Rahm Emanuel. And that truly hurt me, seeing that I saw myself in Adam Toledo. He was a young Latinx kid, and that really hurt me as well.